talk about Belfast. A movie that is getting a lot of buzz, a lot of award buzz. Some talk of it potentially being like the Roma of this year. I didn't get to it, and so I'm kind of relying on you here. Is this going to be the Roma for 2022?
Yeah. Is Belfast a best picture contender? All signs point to yes. And it's funny because there's a lot of obvious comparisons to Roma, right? Autobiographical film from a celebrated filmmaker, Roma, Alfonso Cuarón, Belfast, Kenneth Branagh, black and white, both these films. However, Belfast is a much more rousing, sentimental, feel good type of movie. I don't think we necessarily say Roma is quite like that. But I also don't think Belfast is on Roma's level, to be clear. And it's a movie I liked, but I didn't love it. And it would not be my best picture choice right now, surveying the field, as it stands at the moment. But this movie does seem to be picking up that award steam. Toronto Audience Award in general just seems to be getting that groundswell. And we'll see again how this feel good movie in the awards season goes, because we're going to get another one at the end of this week with King Richard, starring Will Smith, about the father of Venus and Serena Williams, Richard Williams. So be interesting to see how the two feel good movies do. But Belfast, I think the key with this movie is that it's centered around a little kid, Buddy, and our perspective is that of a child. Obviously, this is our stand-in for Kenneth Branagh's time growing up in Belfast, and obviously, this is kind of a very specific time in Ireland, Northern Ireland's history. It's the late 1960s, so it's right when the Troubles are beginning, of which lasted for several decades. The ethnic violence between Protestants and Catholics, and in this case, this film, Buddy is a Protestant family. He's not the one being targeted, but he lives on a integrated street. So he has neighbors that are Catholics and becoming the subject of the attacks as these Protestant groups become more violent. And obviously because he's a little kid, I think he's like a 9-year-old or whatever. The film doesn't really color in the gravity of a lot of the serious stuff that was just starting to pick up as the Troubles began. And then again, you also expect that because it's a movie told by a kid. But it's not like Jojo Rabbit either, where Jojo, I think, was really like up in your face with a lot of that stuff, just because it was more humorous, but also like you had your Nazi characters in that film as well. We don't really have that in Belfast. You just have this like one Protestant goon figure. But even this character, he more interacts with Buddy's dad, played by Jamie Dornan. So I think it's almost more of a coming of age movie than it is a movie about coming of age during a difficult time. I don't know if it completely comes together with like the gravity of the larger situation that it's taking place in. So what you're kind of left with is just a coming of age family film. And I think the acting is quite strong from all the adults in this. It's all the Buddy's family, the parents, Jamie Dornan, as well as Catriona Balfe, who we know from Outlander and recently Ford vs Ferrari, and then the grandparents on dad's side, played by Judi Dench and Kieran Hines. And the best scenes are just when these characters are talking to Buddy. Honestly, in particular, I'd say Kieran Hines is the grandpa. Is the best acting showcase of the bunch and probably the most likely to be nominated for a supporting actor, although Balf's probably in the mix too for supporting actress. Those moments, like, and you even watch the Belfast trailer, Hines just has such a gravity, such a presence that we all know at this point that any kind of dialogue he's telling to Buddy, it's just like write it on the poster type stuff. You see these little snippets in the trailer. It's all really effective. But for me, I just I don't know if the sentimentalness completely came together for me. It felt a little maybe simpler than I wanted. I think part of that the staging is also a little basic. It's kind of on this one block the whole time, which kind of feels like you're on a studio backlot as a result.
Mm,
Um, the black and whiteness, I don't know if that conveys too much beyond it. Oh, this is in the past. This is a memory. It's not as intentional and multi-layered as it is in passing on Netflix. So yeah, Kenneth Branagh, he's an Oscar uh, darling in a certain sense. He's been nominated a bunch of times already, including for Best Director. I expect him to be nominated for Best Director and Best Picture once again for Belfast, but it's more in the good, not great camp for me.
mm.
But there's still plenty to like about it.
So it sounds like it doesn't have the like I don't know if heart is the right word, but maybe like the overall just like emotional impact that Roma had. I think about some scenes in Roma, especially that like last scene where they're like going out into the ocean and stuff like
Mm,
that, and just
right.
like how like tense and moving that was. And it's not like it doesn't necessarily hit those highs, but tells just like a nice general story of like coming of age and family and
Right. Yeah, I'd say that's a good read. Um,
mm,
some of the best scenes too are when Buddy and the family they go to the movies a few times. You see 1 million years BC and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and it's almost like Kenneth Branagh very obviously being this is when I realized I love film. you know, but
yeah.
those scenes are actually I really get some of the best Judy Dench moments, or when they're seeing a stage adaptation of A Christmas Carol and she's like cracking
Mm,
some jokes and stuff. Um, and yeah, like Balf is good. Dornan is good. They don't have a whole lot to do. Balf has like the better speech towards the end. And Dornan, I guess, is Dornan's presence and like his moments, like fending off the goons with his words, not trying to become a fighter, not trying to get involved in all the bad shit that's going on, even though they're quote on the right side, as it were. Dornan's good in that, but he doesn't quite get enough things to do really to like rise up and give this amazing performance. Part of it's because his character is going to England, going away, leaving the family a lot, so he's only in the movie in bits and pieces. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, it's definitely a feel good movie. You could tell. I could tell the theater I was in, people seem to be digging it. Also, there's a moment where Buddy's reading a Thor comic book from the '60s, which is obviously a nice little nod to Kenneth Branagh, who directed the
Mhm.
first Thor film. So that was cool. But yeah, I'd say the best part about it's probably Kieran Hines. Honestly, like he just
Nice.
really makes a lot out of all his dialogue, all his scenes.
I was actually pretty excited for Jamie Dornan in this because I feel like obviously he's his career has been defined, I think, somewhat by the success or lack thereof of the 50 Shades movies. And
Yes.
similar to Robert Pattinson, who we're obviously big fans of, I wouldn't put Dornan in that level for us quite yet. But someone else who was their career was seemed to be going in one direction based on a franchise that doesn't necessarily need to define them or their ability. So I'm glad he's getting some looks into some more serious films and hope that this kind of propels him to some more work. But um, yeah, I can't wait to see it. Definitely a movie I wish I had been able to make it out to see, but is going to be one that I see before awards season because we're going to be talking about it more for sure. So stay tuned. Hang tight. Let us know your opinion. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment. Let us know if you liked Belfast or not.